Call to order. I open the joint meeting and call the City Council meeting to order.
At this time, I call the Parish Council meeting to order.
Invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. I ask Ms. Nanette Cook for invocation and Mr. John Gilbo, Pledge of Allegiance.
God of all creation, we come before you today to give you honor and praise. You are worthy of praise. You are the source of all that is good. You are the source of all of our blessings. Thank you for every gift that we have been given. We thank you for the opportunity to come and gather together today. We ask for your hand hand of blessing on this, our meeting. We ask that you would guide and direct our meeting so that it is full of wisdom, productivity, and respect for one another. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work and our goals this day. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please join with me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Cook and Mr. Gilbo. We welcome you to a special joint meeting of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council. As presiding officer and chair, I would like to announce the following. This is a public hearing. To address the councils on any item on this agenda, please fill out the request form and submit it to the clerk prior to the call of the agenda item, or you will not be given the opportunity to speak. Staff assistance is available if necessary. Item for submission to the council should be handed to the council clerk, Ms. Veronica Williams, seated to my left in the middle. When addressing the councils, state your name and title for the official record. The 5-minute rule will be in effect. No debating or confrontational statements will be allowed. The front row to my left is for media only. Food and drinks are not allowed in the auditorium. Please silence all phones and electronic devices. Meeting procedures are by resolutions and not by Robert Rules of Order. All documents with reference to meetings can be found on the LCG website. And finally, the council encourages your involvement in boards or commissions. If interested, call 291-8800. Chair announcements. Item number 5, resolution number JR-003-2020, roughly to meeting rules. Council members Andy Knockin has proposed an amendment to include a specific time to meetings for joint council meetings to start at 5:30 p.m. and to change the time for city council meetings from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Item number 6, ordinance number JO-001-2020, roughly to reorganization of public works. Finance has proposed an amendment to add back the 2 vacant environmental quality inspectors, as well as make minor corrections to the organizational charts. Chair does not have any announcements. Any council members would like to make announcements? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Cook.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to give a quick update, as in like just a 2-minute quick update, about the dredging of the Vermilion River and the core study that was being done before Christmas. We did get a message from Mark Wingate from the Corps of Engineers, and I wanted to read his statement that he sent me about that. He said, the Corps has discussed the rollout of the Vermilion River dredging assessment with Congress Higgins' office and will be reaching out to leadership of both Lafayette and Vermilion parishes to set this meeting. So the analysis has been completed. As of January 9th, we got this information. So we're anticipating a meeting in mid-February, and it will include Lafayette Parish as well as Vermilion Parish that will be discussing what the analysis will be telling us. So I will keep you posted. I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cook. Okay, that's good. Yes, sir, Mr. Knockin.
Yes, I just wanted to, again, congratulate the Acadiana High Wrecking football team. Earlier in our parish council meeting, we recognized the Acadiana High School for their state championship. So just wanted to make that announcement and congratulate them one more time, and want to thank all the coaches and the players that showed up. Appreciate it very much, and congratulations. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Kevin Nakane. Mr. Mayor President, do you have anything for executive report?
Mo?
Yo.
Okay. We announced at the parish meeting that we have Carlos Harvin in attendance, and Mr. Harvin is the first ever Lafayette Consolidated Government Chief of Minority Affairs. It is an honor to have Bishop Harvin in our administration, and I know that he will do great things. At the parish council, Mr. Harvin addressed the councils with, I don't know if the joint chairs would like him
Please.
to come up.
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank our Mayor President, Josh Guillory, for this wonderful opportunity. And I think the timing, Chairman Lewis, and to all of the members of the City Parish Council, as we have celebrated the birthday and remembered the dream of Martin Luther King Jr., we know as we start a brand new year, 2020, we have a lot of hopes and a lot of dreams. And I think this first ever appointment is a sign that that dream of Dr. King is coming to pass in our day and our time. This is a chance to build bridges. It's a chance and an opportunity for us to sit together at the table of brotherhood and sisterhood. And I think that what we do here together, we're going to have a very different Lafayette in the next year, over the next 4 years and into the future. I just want to thank Josh Guillory, our Mayor President, for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with you and all of our residents here in Lafayette Parish. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's start with resolutions. This is a public hearing, and blue sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the councils. The 5-minute rule does not apply. Jeremy, please read item number 5, please.
Joint Resolution 3, 2020, a joint resolution of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council, amending Joint Resolution 1, 2020, which establishes the rules and order of business for the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council.
Okay, I need a motion and a second from the city council.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Liz Hebert and second by Mr. Andy Nakane.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion and a second from the parish council.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Gilbo and second by Councilman Carlson.
Councilman Andy Nakane has requested an amendment to include a specific time to meet from joint council meetings to start at 5:30 p.m. and to change the time from city council meetings from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. I need a motion and a second on amendments from the city council. Motion by Ms. Lynette Cook and second by Ms. Liz Hebert.
Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask a motion and a second on the amendment from the parish council. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Carlson. Okay.
Council's discussion on amendment. I see no council announcement. Okay, Ms. Veronica, any public comments on amendment? Oh, I'm sorry, we have someone, Mr. Lazar, you have a question, a comment, discussion?
Yes, Liz, I have a question, I'm sorry. So, pertaining to section E1, about all proclamations coming from the Mayor President's office, can you clarify that for me?
Sure. Make me laugh.
And the rationale behind it?
Sure.
No, it's Liz wants to speak. Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just I think the question goes to a section that right now we're dealing with the amendment.
Oh,
Right,
that's
yeah,
right.
it's not, yeah, right.
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 So I would suggest we
Yeah,
deal
we
with
wait
the
till that
amendment.
time, right.
And then, yeah.
Okay, sure. So we have the motion already and the second on amendment from the city council? Okay, Mr. Nakane? Y'all did too? Okay. Council discussion on amendment? I see no council discussion. Ms. Williams, any public comments on amendment? There's none. And-
Just a moment. We did have some not on this one, I'm sorry, it's on the next one. I was gonna
Right.
ask if they had speakers who signed in on this one, but it's not this one. My apologies.
Okay, I need a vote from each council on amendment.
City District 1,
Yes.
City District 2,
Yes.
City District 3,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 3, Parish District 4, Parish District 5. Motions to amend have been approved.
And if you notice on the board, both councils just voted. If you notice in the upper left hand, you'll see city pass, parish pass, and if you go along the line, you'll see, so we were able to do a split vote, and it will identify the individual councils and whether it passed or failed.
Okay. Okay, council's discussion on ordinance as amended.
Yes, Liz. Clarification on E1, that all proclamations come from the Mayor President's office.
Sure, so,
Rationale.
sure. So my rationale for this one will be similar to all of these, and how I came about these additions to the policies and procedures were from a few different things. It was from my last 4 years on the council, after speaking with my previous council members that have served with me before, our transition team that we had, our little committee, from the feedback from them, and then also the council office staff, asking them, how can we be more efficient in our meetings running forward? Obviously, I'm being a little selfish because as a city council member, our meetings are starting a little later, so I'm trying to help make sure that we all leave a little earlier, right? So, so this is what all of these are really for, is just to be more efficient and more effective in our meetings. Specifically, the proclamations, what those are for is, the last 4 years, we were running into issues with, say, a nonprofit would contact me and tell me, I want you to recognize my nonprofit for this nationally recognized holiday. And so I would have Veronica start working on a proclamation, but then I would find out 2 weeks later that they'd already reached out to the mayor's office and had them doing the same amount of work. So what I did was saying, rather than there being a miscommunication, let's have them all funnel up to the mayor's office and have them, I don't want to say do the work, but have it move up to them. That way it's not two different people and we're not doubling up on the work like we have in the past. A couple of you have reached out to me with some concerns. This does not mean that you do not get to present it. Like, for instance, Councilwoman Cook is presenting a dance ordinance that's near and dear to her heart because it involves her daughter's dance group. So this does not mean that Councilwoman Cook does not get to present it. Whenever she sends this up to the mayor's office, she can say, I would like a proclamation or a monthly recognition for this organization, or Acadiana High's football team just won. But because it's in my district or close to my heart, I would like to read the proclamation. So that none of that changes, so it's not like you're completely left out in the conversation. This is simply just to be more efficient moving forward.
Would the mayor's office have to approve it, per se?
I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess he can say, no, I don't want to do that. But I would think that the mayor would give us a good reason why he doesn't want to approve it. And I can't, being on the council the last 4 years, I just cannot see a situation where the mayor would say, I hate this and I don't want to do it. Because typically these are Acadiana High football just won state, or, you know, it's a Women's Breast Health Month, or it's, you know, whatever, Black History Month. Eagle Scouts, things like that. So I don't foresee a reason why he would not to. I think that the mayor would give a courtesy call and say, this is why I don't want to do that, and that I don't have a crystal ball. So I would think that if this was a nationally recognized holiday, if this was a local sports team that just won, or Eagle Scouts are being recognized for something, I just don't foresee why he would do that. So.
Those are the easy ones.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I just can't see why he would not do it. But again, this is a resolution. This is not legally binding. This is merely a suggestion for us to be more efficient. That way, Veronica and her staff are not doubling up on work because they've already have one more council member. So trying to limit the amount of work. Now, again, if this doesn't work and our mayor is abusing his power and just saying no to all of our proclamations, then we can certainly revisit this as a council.
I think we have some more that want to get to add on to that. Go ahead, Mr. Glenn Lazar.
No, that's it.
Yeah. Mr. Rubin, please.
I would like to hear the mayor opinion on that, because I was about to ask the same question. You know, if I came there and I say I want to recognize Acadiana or anybody, maybe somebody your worst enemy, I don't know. Not that you have any enemies, but
Good observation.
but how do you feel if we came to you with a proclamation? Can we expect you to push it through or deny it?
Sure, and I think Councilmember Lazar had a good point. That's the easy ones. It should be pretty easy, but I think Councilwoman Webb is focused on efficiency here. I would say this: we are all professionals. If I disagree with the proclamation, I would extend the professional courtesies to you and pick up the phone and call you and tell you why.
So you would deny a proclamation.
I
You are
would.
in the capacity to say you would deny the proclamation. That's a possibility.
I'll say it very clearly. I will not proclaim anything that I don't believe in. So yes, I would not sign something that I do not agree with. But there's also professional courtesies here that I would extend to each one of you. We have a great relationship, both councils and my administration. I expect nothing but a good working relationship going forward. So those few and far between proclamations that maybe I have a issue with or questions on, I have no doubt that I can pick up the phone and we can talk about it and resolve it.
And I'll say it again because my mic's still hot. And if this does, for whatever reason, I don't want to get too caught up in the what ifs because none of us have a crystal ball. And if this does become an issue, we can amend this. This is simply for us to try and work to be more effective. And I was trying to make our meetings more efficient and run quicker. So again, if this is an issue, we can always revisit this. But just for the spirit of moving forward and being efficient, I hope I have your support in this.
Mr. Rubin? Mr. A. Nake?
Hey, knock in. Oh,
In section 8, subsection B7. Is it on? I'm hot?
Yeah,
Okay,
you're hot.
good, thank
You're
you. Section 8, subsection B7. It says any questions to be asked by the citizenry in regards to the items on the agendas have to be presented to the council, written to the clerk within 72 hours of the meeting. So being as our agendas are put out on Thursday, that means Friday morning they'd have to have the questions put into them. That's not very much time.
and am I still hot? I'm
Yes.
happy to amend that if you need more time.
I'm
I just
thinking
went
we
off
should
of,
at least give the people over the weekend till Monday, and make that maybe
Sure.
48 hours.
I'm happy to make that, if you want to offer the amendment, I'm happy
I
to
would
support it.
love to offer an amendment to move
Absolutely.
that to
Mr.
48
Chairman.
hours.
Yes, sir.
Just-
Legal?
I just want to give you some more information for the discussion. That is a provision that was in the rules already. It's not a new add or change.
Okay.
Also, it doesn't use the word shall or must, it's just should. It's a suggestion that they should.
Flexible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and in fact, the councils over the past, at least with my experience, is that they're more than willing to
So
try and answer any questions on
If
the
the
floor.
question comes in the day of the meeting, it won't be denied.
Absolutely
no,
not,
sir.
no.
sir.
Okay, should we even just remove that section?
Well, it's simply a suggestion for the benefit of the public that if they want to try and get the best and most researched answer, they should endeavor to get it within 72 hours of the meeting.
Let's,
And you may recall where citizens come to the podium and they have a list of questions.
Oh, I
And
recall
that's what
that.
we're talking about. And I think with reference to one of the items, several of you said that you received a list of questions from a citizen. We were able to get that answered for him, all the responses to his questions. So that probably stopped him from coming to the council meeting because he had all his questions answered.
Ahead of time.
So it's in those cases where they have a number of questions and they'll come to the podium and ask all these questions and we can't answer them on the
Right.
spot.
So that's not set in
That's
stone?
just normal, right? That was already there.
Okay, all right, then I would assume we don't need an amendment then.
No, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're fine.
So when it comes to, this is a joint meeting, so when it comes to the city, we just continue on moving forward. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Williams, any public comments on ordinance as amended?
No, sir?
Okay, I need a vote from each council on the joint ordinance as amended.
City District 1?
Yes.
City
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
City District 3?
Yes.
City District 4?
Yes.
City District 5?
Yes.
Parish District 1?
Yes.
Parish District 2?
Yes.
Parish District 3? Yes. Parish District 4? Yes. Parish District 5? Yes. Motions to adopt as amended is approved.
Ordinance for final adoption. This is a public hearing, and blue sheets are available for anyone wishing to address the council. The 5-minute rule does not apply. Jeremy, can you read item number 6, please?
Joint Ordinance 1, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council approving an administrative reorganization of a department of Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government by reorganizing the Department of Public Works, creating the Department of Drainage, creating the Department of Traffic, Roads, and Bridges, and amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government to effectuate the administrative reorganization approved herein.
Okay, I need a motion and a second from City Council. So moved. Moved by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Liz Hebert.
Okay, need a motion and a second from the Parish Council. Motion by Councilman A.B. Rubin and second by Councilman Carlson.
Finance has requested an amendment to add back the 2 vacant environmental quality inspectors, as well as make minor corrections to the organizational charts. I need a motion and a second on amendment from the City Council. So moved. Moved by Mr. Andy Nakane, second by Ms. Nanette Cook.
I ask for a motion and a second on the amendment from the Parish. Motion by Councilman Gilbo.
Siri, somebody activated Siri.
Council discussion on amendment.
Hold on.
Oh,
I
okay.
want to make sure I got it clear for the record. He didn't get it. So I got a motion by Councilman Gilbo and a
Second
second.
by Siri.
And a second by Siri. And I got a third by Councilman Carlson.
Okay.
Siri said she didn't get that, so I'm just making it clear for the record. Parish Councilman is Gilbo and second by Councilman Carlson.
Okay, we have all our motion, okay.
Anybody else want to make a motion?
Council discussion on amendment.
I didn't get that.
I see no discussion. Ms. Williams, any public comments on amendment?
We did have speakers sign in, and if you would like to speak on the amendment, and that's with reference only to the 2 environmental inspectors, the removal of that from the plan. Jim Doré, do you want to speak to that? The amendment only. No, he passes. Raymond Rayo, do you want to speak to the amendment? No, he passes. No other speakers, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Then I need a vote from each council on the amendment.
City District 2?
Yes.
City District 3?
Yes.
City District 4?
Yes.
City District 5?
Yes.
City District 1?
Yes.
Parish District 2?
Yes.
Parish District 3? Yes. Parish District 4? Yes. Parish District 5? Yes. Parish District 1? Yes. Motions to amend are approved.
Council's discussion on ordinance as amended. I see none. Ms. Williams, oh, any?
Yep.
Yes, Mr. Kevin Nakane.
Are y'all doing a presentation on the department changes and stuff right now? Was that only if we ask for it or have a question about it, or you were doing it
Only if
regardless?
you
'Cause
had
we-
questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And the
Mr.
reason I'm
Mayor.
saying that is we're getting ready to go to a vote. And once we vote, the presentation shot.
If y'all all vote yes, we don't need to present.
Okay. Well,
Can't you have the presentation?
Well, I think we would like to have the
I think
presentation.
the public would like the presentation
Yeah.
as well as the council, but
I
I'm
agree.
just wanted, for the record, in my previous experience, we was about to roll with the vote, and it would have been done, so.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
So I guess I need to make the request.
Do we do public comment?
I'd like for you to proceed with your presentation. No, you got a mic right there, hold on. Oh, no, they don't. There's no more mic on the table? Yeah, look right here, right in front of Chad. No, right here in front of Chad. Talk.
I have it up on my screen, it's just not currently
Oh,
communicating with
I
this.
thought you were talking about the mic. I wasn't worried about that.
No,
She was like, this isn't it.
I was a musician, I'm worried about the mic. I ain't worried about the, gotta have the mic.
Get that sound check.
Yeah, sound check. Test mic 1, 2.
Well, I guess I have a couple of questions while we're waiting.
Yeah, go ahead, jump me. Go ahead.
Yes, Ms. Hebert.
Thank you. Well, first, I want to thank Sidra, Chad, and Robert for meeting with Nanette Cook and I yesterday on your day off, all of y'all's day off, to help answer our questions about this, because I know we probably met for an hour and a half digging deep into it, so thank you for that. I just want to confirm and have on the record that we are indeed putting back, because I know a few of us had some concerns about that EQ position getting removed, and so they just want to acknowledge that that was put back in, and thank you for hearing our concerns on that. And then also, well, I stalled enough. There it is. Never mind. So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Also want to thank both councils for your engagement as well. You know, a lot of feedback, a lot of dialogue, which is healthy for democracy, and this presentation, along with your continued feedback and questions, is also healthy for our community. So thank you very much for your leadership and participation. On the microphone, we also have our interim director, Chad Naveau. We have our CAO, CFO, Chief of Staff is behind me, also legal is behind me, and across from me as well, for any additional questions that you may have. Who's Rick? Oh, I also have Rick in the audience, Director of HR. So, Public Works it needs to be reorganized for many reasons. This reorganization. Oh, we have a malfunction here. We're good. We have some assistance on the PowerPoint. One more time. We do have the first slide, though. If everyone gathers around Catherine's laptop. We did. I know, you're right. Yeah, where's Randy at?
You want to recognize me? Right now? Ms. Cook, I think you're live. You'd like to recognize someone in the audience while waiting?
Yeah, while we have a break in the action.
Sure.
I thought maybe. I have 3 students in the back, former students of mine. If y'all would stand up, I told them I wouldn't embarrass them, but I am. They're here actually from STM, and it's a civics class that this teacher requires them to come. I don't know if y'all remember, we often have them in here, and they're coming to learn all about government, and of course, maybe technology tonight as well. But anyway, I just want to recognize them and thank y'all.
Can they fix it?
Actually, they probably could fix it, yeah. Anyway, thank y'all for coming, ladies.
Thank you. Why he's not here? Well, I have no. I don't think it's a laptop issue. Is it a laptop issue or is it a?
I probably don't have the audio visual. The proper AV.
All right. We are getting somewhere. There we go. Thank you, IT. Okay. So this is a PDF version, so we'll be scrolling. All right, so as members of the audience and our councils, we did have a very, very at least to me it was fancy. You know, you press a button and like certain words pop up for visual effect, but we're going to get through this together, okay? All right, so Public Works, we propose that it needs to be reorganized for several reasons. In regards to accountability, this reorganization creates a direct line of accountability from the Mayor President's office, the councils, and the citizens to the responsible directors themselves. It's effective. The existing organization of the Public Works Department is not effective in fulfilling its mission. The reorganization focuses on the needs of drainage and on traffic roads and bridges and streamlines management. I said on the campaign trail a lot of times, and I say to my administration, if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. Under this reorganization, the director's focus will be the pressing needs of their departments. The reorganization allows department leadership to engage in proactive measures to effectively manage the needs of the department. This reorganization allows for more attention to specific budgetary issues of drainage, along with traffic, roads, and bridges. This reorganization also leverages the director's understanding of their departments to better manage tax dollars and expedite projects in the process. Now, if you scroll down a little bit more, this is the current Public Works flowchart. This is the organizational breakdown right here. Anybody running a business would look at this spaghetti model and have a headache. The first time I saw it was this big old, we don't have it up here, but I mean, I wish we could show the printout of it, just so you can have the full effect. I mean, it's a mess. It's too big. Also, this particular, under the current master organization of Public Works, there are 327 full-time employees in this one department. The department that you feel and see and touch and know about more than any department, or as much of any department in LCG. 327 full-time employees. It has an annual budget of $90 million. It oversees this one department: capital improvements, environmental quality, waste collection, code enforcement, drainage maintenance, road and sidewalk maintenance, grass cutting, bridge maintenance, building maintenance, vehicle maintenance, traffic engineering, maintenance, and signals, transit and parking, all under one department. So when you look at the current Public Works Master Organization, these are the maintenance components of drainage that's highlighted right in this particular slide. Will show it. So what we're proposing, and by the way, stay on this one real quick, Catherine. If you notice, when we talk about accountability, look at this flow chart. Just to get to the division leader, there are 4 layers that the mayor president would have to go through, or the councils would have to go through, or the public would have to go through. We all ran on drainage. Every single person up here at one point touched on the issue of drainage. Some more than others. Some districts were affected more than others. Every candidate for the mayor president's position touched on drainage. Drainage, drainage, drainage. Right now, 4 layers until you get the first line leadership on the most important issue collectively around this parish. So what our proposal is, we take this component out of Public Works, and we create, or excuse me, go to the next slide. Thank you. Same thing with traffic, roads, and bridges. So you have the current Public Works master organization, and the maintenance component of traffic, roads, and bridges are highlighted in this slide. You can. All right. All right. So again, going back, this highlights the drainage maintenance component. Go to the next slide. What we propose is we take this maintenance component and we create a much cleaner, much more manageable Department of Drainage. Therefore, when your constituents, to my fellow colleagues in the council, when your constituents call you and then you need someone to go to, if it's not me, you have one call, and that's your director of drainage. Same thing in my administration. We eliminate the 4 layers, the bureaucracy, the red tape. There it is. Under this new proposed drainage department, we will have 71, a manageable 71 full-time employees. It's important to highlight, though, that both parish-wide millages remain 100% for drainage. This department would oversee drainage engineering support and maintenance. So we go back to the current Public Works master organization. We again see the highlighted areas where maintenance component of traffic, roads, and bridges are highlighted. We propose taking these areas and creating the Department of Traffic, Roads, and Bridges. Under this department, we're looking at 86 full-time employees. All monies originally dedicated to roads and bridges remain dedicated to roads and bridges. This department would oversee road and sidewalk maintenance, grass cutting, bridge maintenance, traffic engineering, traffic maintenance, and traffic signals. So again, we go back to the spaghetti model. Any business owner, I want to highlight, looking at that, would have a headache. I was a very small business owner, and that gave me a headache. We need accountability. We need efficiency. So under the reorganization, we take that model of Public Works, we reduce it to a manageable Public Works organizational flow chart. Under the new Public Works Department, we're going from 325 full-time employees to a very manageable 168 full-time employees. All monies originally dedicated for these functions remain dedicated. But if you look at the red areas, we're taking out the maintenance component of drainage, road and sidewalk maintenance, bridge maintenance, traffic engineering, maintenance, and signals. We're taking that away, and now the department will oversee capital improvements, environmental quality, waste collection, code enforcement, building maintenance, vehicle maintenance, transportation, and parking. And ladies and gentlemen of the councils, that concludes my presentation, and I welcome your questions.
Mr.
Yes.
Carson, yes, sir.
Could this presentation be made available to the public? I think it'd be great for them to be able to see in the future if they weren't able to watch tonight.
Yes.
Mr. Rubin?
We have, we have 132 jobs that won't be there anymore. We went from 300 jobs to 168. Am I saying that correct, or did I miss something?
Something. They're in the other 2 departments.
Okay. Okay. I'll just check.
Nope, good catch.
Hey, yeah.
That's right. That's right. Good catch.
Mr. Lazar?
Mr. Gilroy,
Yes, sir.
at introduction 2 weeks ago, I asked you in terms of the supervisors of these respective departments, I asked you if you were going to be looking for somebody with a particular set of qualifications or a particular skill set. You remember that question?
Yes, sir.
And I think your response was somebody with leadership ability and integrity.
I would add management skills and can hold their subordinate leaders accountable and make sure that the mission gets accomplished in the most efficient way.
Okay. What's the allocation plan for current employees in terms of how they're going to be divided into the three different divisions? Is it going to be based on qualifications, experience, or what?
Okay. Councilman, I'm not sure if you have a copy of the presentation. Do we have? No. We will make that available. I wish we did. But the flow charts, if I'm understanding your question correctly, as far as the functions, certain positions within these proposed new departments, they're going to stay the same. It's more of an accountability issue. It's more of a leadership issue. And accountability is not just to me, it's to the councils and to our people. So I think my comment, correct me if I'm wrong, 2 weeks ago was regards to the actual department heads is when we had that dialogue.
Correct.
So, and I think it's important to note, though, that no services during this reorganization will be lost. And our interim director can add to this if you feel necessary.
Yes. Your mic on.
It's on now? Okay, thank you. Yeah, I reiterate what Josh said. We're filling new director positions. All the other positions are going to remain the same with no disruption to service. So, again, those new hiring is where the subject matter is going to take place.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Lazar, you finished?
I'm good.
Okay. Councilwoman, Ms. Cook?
Yes, I just need a little verification on the EQ positions. They are going to still be a position. They're not going to be filled, though. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well,
The two new positions.
based on the feedback that I received, not only from the city council, but also parish council individuals, and I appreciate that. And going forward, I think it's healthy, and I want our public to know that there is dialogue and that there is teamwork and partnership here in these, especially these very important matters. I do stand firm in my analysis based on what I have, based on the information that I have available today, that I don't see a need to fill them. However, based on the feedback that I've received, I recognize that there could be a need. So I feel like a good compromise is keep it in there, and it's much easier once they're in there to go ahead and fill it. And I, just judging off the communication that we've had in the first 2 weeks of office, I have no doubt in my mind that you will let me know in your district. Yes. And that's a compliment. That's a compliment if there's an issue there. Because I do see the function of these two EQ positions are vital to the success of the mission of both public works, transportation, traffic roads and bridges, and then drainage. So all of these are important. I believe with this scaled down, reorganized 3 departments, that these leaders with a more manageable caseload will allow us to find more efficiencies to be able to satisfy that with possibly not filling these positions. But the positions are there based on your recommendation, and I appreciate that.
And so they'll still be funded.
They're still funded,
So
yes,
that
sir.
funding that was going to be used for the new director's position won't be coming from that? Because that was supposed to be, that was 2 of the 4 vacant positions for funding.
With this addition, if we were to fill it, it would now be budget neutral as opposed to, and correct me if I'm wrong from Ms. Toops, but based on the analysis I gave the last meeting, we said it was a minimum net savings of $67,000. If we do fill these 2 positions, we're still, I believe, at a net savings, but it's more of a budget neutral. However, I would like to take this opportunity. Director Naveau and I and my administration have discussed possible ways where we can address this issue, both that would be more fiscally responsible in the short term, but definitely in the long term with mandated liabilities. And if you'd please address.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of time to analyze it, but I understand the concerns of the council is to shorten this gap, particularly where we have code enforcement for tall grass. So one of the options is obviously to put more people on the road looking at these problems. With the short conversations I've had with some of the management in the environmental section, we have some opportunities to do alternate things, and it's working overtime during the peak season. We do have some concerns about putting 2 additional full-time employees where our problems are just part of the year. So we want to be careful as we, make these decisions, where particularly if we can have some alternate options, internally, whether it's working overtime or possibly utilizing some of the newer software that's currently being worked on to try to, be more productive and shorten that gap to get that grass cut.
No, I thank you for sharing that, because I did hear that, and I like that as a possible solution to not filling those 2 positions at this point. So thank you for sharing that. So,
Well, thank you.
okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Mr. Lazar?
Obviously, I'm missing something here, and I'll admit that. Because I was of the impression that when we said we were going to leave those positions in the budget, that they were going to be filled. I didn't know that there was going to be an option as to whether or not we were going to fill them or not. I think they were put there for a reason, because the prior council obviously saw the need for it, a demonstrated need for it. So like I said, if I'm missing something, somebody please correct me. But I was of the impression that they were put there because there was a demonstrated need for them. And when I hear that they are going to, quote unquote, remain in the budget, that gives me the impression that those positions are going to be filled with physical bodies. That's my.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. These positions were added by the previous city parish council, and they have never been filled. The intent, I think we can all agree, is the intent is that the grass gets cut. My job on a day-to-day basis is to make sure that we satisfy that intent in the most cost-effective way to our taxpayers. And if I hear a director that comes to me with a very proactive solution that says, hey, we only need to focus on this during the peak time of the year, and maybe we can do this where it's not as much of a fiscal liability on our taxpayers, I'm definitely gonna listen to the director. With that same note, I also listen to our council members, and they've said, hey, this is an option, the 2 EQ positions. If we can't exhaust more fiscally responsible ways to satisfy the mission, which is cutting more grass, then now we have these 2 positions that are already going to be budgeted, and we can fill them. So I believe we're all going to be on the same page. We need to make sure the grass is cut. And as someone that's leading an administration that does this every single day, I promise you, and I have 10 very proactive council members that I'm honored to serve with, I can assure you, I will listen when you make that call and say this particular area needs to be addressed when it comes to grass cutting. Thank you.
Mr. Lazar? Still Mike, you good? Mr. Kevin Nakane?
Yes, first off, definitely keep the grass cut. Our gateways to our community in Lafayette is a vital part, and we definitely have to do that. I guess what I'm asking you is, previously in my parish council meeting, when you were in it, I mentioned that our parish council is going to want to be having the millages, department millages come by and discuss. So, for example, coming up maybe at a February meeting, if we want to bring the drainage district millage or the roads and bridges, I guess I'm kind of putting your new directors or that position on notice to say, can they present to this parish council, and will they be able to break all the millages up and do that? Or will that be a problem because of the different departments? So if I'm wanting to talk about drainage millages, I'm assuming that drainage department head would come down and, no? Why are you shaking your head?
No, I would say, I know where you're coming.
She's saying
I know,
no.
but I understand where you're coming from. That is, she's shaking her head more than likely because that falls mostly on finance, so she would be the primary lead on that. However, part of our changing our culture in the administration, and I'll give you credit here, in the department head meetings, Ms. Toops is very proactive in basically, I'm going to say, requiring our department heads to be more accountable with the monies that they receive from our taxpayers, and which would play on what you're saying. But I have no.
Trying to figure out what
Oh, yeah.
direction or what guideline to go in if Veronica and I or whatever request at the parish council meeting, we want a presentation from the drainage millage, drainage district millage, what it's bringing in, who's going to be able to answer those questions as far as for what's our operation, what's our expenses, what the projects looks like. The other part is the drainage part. Previously, we had $30-something million set aside for drainage projects. So, I mean, we would definitely want to know. It's nice that it's broken down to departments, but will they have the information that we're going to need right away, or they're going to have to go and learn the curve?
Well, I would definitely ask that you give notice, but you'll have two components. You'll have the finance component, and then you'll have the operational component through the directors. So yes, they should be able to answer that, because there's two, I would suggest there's two components to that. You do have the finance, but then you have the day-to-day operational component of that. And I also go on record saying I completely support the chair and vice chair and the parish council's direction there. We should examine every millage. I know the parish council said that in our previous meeting, but that's where you talk about accountability. And so I applaud our parish council, and I recommend our city council do the same on any city millages. We can talk about that a different day, but you put it to a vote, so I just wanted to tell you I appreciate that.
No problem. I just wanted to, with the department breakup and everything, I know it's going to be streamlined, it's going to be more effective with drainage projects, but in us getting information out to the public and knowing where to go and who's going to be presenting the information, collectively working together is kind of, if there was going to be an interruption with creating the different departments, and because you might have some that were working on projects that can probably answer that question, and then now they're in a different department, so,
I think what we learned during the transition meetings is that our finances are so complex. We have always focused where the departments operate on the expenditure side, and they don't know where their money comes from. And you hit the nail on the head. You've identified the problem. And this is what, when I start talking to you about we need to look at the budget by fund, we need to look at the budget like an income statement. That is exactly what needs to be done. And then the departments can start to learn where their funding comes from. This will streamline it quite a bit and will make it a lot less complex, but there's still, even the new Public Works Department is still going to have funding from several different sources. The Drainage Department will have only two components, but we can identify those. Finance is going to be an integral part of that because, as I said, some of the departments, they operate, they know their job, they got to get it done. Where the money comes from is not their concern.
Right.
And so we need to kind of change the way we look at that so they can see how much money they have and then go about their mission.
Exactly. That's my mission. That's what I want to do, because sometimes you might go work with a constituent and, you want to do the project and they say, we don't have no money. And then you say, well, what you mean you don't have no money? Well, we don't have no money. Well, why?
Right.
As a councilman, going to a department head to say, listen, I want to see about cleaning this coulee, or I want to see about changing this culvert out. You're telling me we have no money. Then it makes me go to you and say, okay, where's the money coming? And then it's so convoluted.
So we worked that in our new budget software, knowing that the new form of government was coming. And I think the discussion starts with me giving you an income statement for the road fund, so you see where the money comes from and what they do, and then we need the director to tell us what they really do, because I
Correct.
don't know those details.
And the projects that are in line with, has the
Right.
bid, has all the legal paperwork ready to go, right-of-ways and stuff like that. Because sometimes in the budget, you'll have a line item for X amount of dollars, and then we fight the situation that it's been on the books forever, but the money's in that project, but the steps, it's behind 3 or 4 years because they're waiting on right-of-ways and everything legal. So, okay, that's all I have, but that's my agenda, and I just wanted to get an idea of how we're going to tie it all in together when we're going to need something.
And Mr. Chair?
Yes.
And piggybacking on what Kevin said, Councilmember Liz Bear has also requested that we look at the millages, from all millages, as well as the allocation, the funds, and all of those things. That she even requested that we contact the consultant, the allocation consultant, so all of you guys could have a joint briefing on the allocation, the funds. So at one time, the consultant could come and explain all the funds to you guys, as well as talk about the millages on various sides.
Okay, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So, yeah, thank you. Ms. Hebert?
Need to clear the CFO.
There you go.
I support this. I think, especially now that I have a better understanding, I'm more on board than I was before. But the biggest concern I've heard from my constituents, and I know some other council members, is what we were having a hard time seeing was, it's great that it's going to be more organized, but a lot of my constituents are saying, it's great that it's organized, but I want my ditch dug out. So I'm hoping that you can maybe, for the public, help explain, or maybe Sidra, if you want to do that, because you and I spoke directly about it, is I know we're not adding more people, like, for example, Labor One positions. We have, and what was explained to me, and maybe you can go into more details, we already have 8 people who can do the job of digging ditches, that we have applications that are, it's an open position, 8 positions, but we can't fill them. So for us to add 10 more positions rather than doing this, for example, we would have then 18 people that we need to try and fill this position for. Can you maybe give us, the council and the people listening, examples how this will eventually lead to more boots on the ground, or how it will be more efficient other than just on paper?
Let me lead in, and I'll allow our director to opine. This is the first step. This getting accountability, getting an assessment, is absolutely the first step to moving forward. We feel, and I strongly feel, you saw the current organizational chart. If we were to add 10, we'll just use 10 hypothetically. Yeah. If we were to use 10, just throw 10 more positions up there, I'm not terribly confident that it would be maxed, that their potential would be maxed out. Now, hypothetically, we throw 10 under this new reorganized departments. There's a lot shorter gap between that director and that boots on ground employee that you're referring. Step 1, getting everything, getting an assessment. Step 2, getting it more organized. Step 3, let's work together to see how we can get more boots on ground, because I 100% am behind you on that initiative, and that's ultimately the goal. We can talk about organization all we want. It's a crucial step, but it's the first step. So, Mr. Director.
I'm on now, okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to add a little bit to that, because, having more people is great, but we need to conquer the equipment, downtime issues, maybe even the inability to fill operator positions. We got to control right now what we have. It's very important to do that before we can kind of grow. If we're going to grow, let's grow something that's working better. And I think we'll be all happier and better off before we commit to, increasing payroll and other things. So that would be the focus, I believe, going forward, and is trying to take what we have and make sure it's humming along the way you expect it to be.
Right.
You see? So,
right.
Thank you.
And my intention is not to grow government, but at the same time, and my constituents are asking how much longer is till my service request is going to get filled. And when I go to Public Works now, they're telling me we don't have enough people to do the job. That's why I'm focused on that particular issue. So, but I'm happy to wait. I'm optimistic that this will work. I hope that the directors that you hire will not just be status quo and sit idle, but have goals and efficiency standards that they are required to meet, and then that you'll share them with us. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Knockin.
Councilman Liz just touched on something. As long as I've been on the council, we have went through a period, and Chad, you were here, when to her point, we did not fill positions in the drainage department. And when I first started, I want to say there might have been 6, 8, 10 crews that handled certain drainage projects. And we're down to how many now?
Well,
I'm just trying to figure out where that
ditch
efficiency.
digging crews, there's 3, okay, for example.
What we used to have.
I mean, over the years, I know there's been a reduction in employees in Public Works, particularly drainage and streets. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me to tell you exactly, how many. I'm sure there's probably 10% at one point was not filled, was unfilled, and they got cut.
Right.
But some of those positions that were difficult to fill. Like I said, skilled operators is the difficult position to fill. Get CDL, drivers, those are difficult to retain, even if you create them within.
Right.
They typically find better opportunities outside. We lose them. So, I mean, there's a lot of challenges with staffing.
I guess my question is, with 3 drainage crews, even if we broke it up, we're having a hard time now filling the requested services. I'm trying to say is, where is that efficiency, and how are you going to be able to do more with less when you're down with 3 crews? Because I can tell you, our requests have been 60, 90 days before someone comes out there. So, like Liz, it sounds good, it feels good, and I know we have to go through the process, and we're going to have to experiment with it. And I think it's a great concept, but I have to revert back to the fact that back in the day when you had 6 or 8 crews to go see about something, even though it was under Public Works, that was their job to go see about that. So we're still behind, so that's still going to be the same. So I don't think the request of service is going to be slowing down anytime soon. So how can we get the same 3 crews to speed up the process and now go knock out the request of services faster?
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
And Chad has way more experience and knowledge on this, so I do want you to answer, and I appreciate it. But I will say this, we all agree there should be more crews. And I think I would suggest that it feels good and looks good just to say, let's add more crews but if we add more crews to this current spaghetti model of this current organization, we're not going to get the most bang for our buck, and we're going to have a lot of redundancy and not as much synergy.
I concur with that.
Because if any of you know my personality, it's go and stop. If it were up to me, I'd have a magic wand and, click, you snap my fingers, we'd have construction component over there, maintenance component over there, we'd have our more crews. But slow is smooth and smooth is fast. But this is way faster than any recent past that I've seen, respectfully, our local government acting. And with your help, we'll get to that next step. Let's organize it. Let's assess the situation. We see what's out there. And then we start to find ways with a closer inline manager to give us those recommendations. And when we go through the budgetary process together, I'll be very happy to talk to you about how we can transfer funds to add crews to where our public is better served. But we have to work with what we have right now. We have a current budget. We're limited on what we can do there. We have a current structure. We're not limited what we can do there, and that's why we're talking about it now. And think about it, when we go to the budgetary process under these new departments, it'll be a heck of a lot easier to talk about adding crews than it would be that big old massive organization that we just saw.
No, I agree. Everything that you said, I guess, in just talking out loud and thinking, we're definitely going to have to see how it's going to work, because just what you said. I mean, I like the model. I like the way it looks. I think it will be, but I don't want the public to think all of a sudden we're separating this thing and then all of a sudden we're going to be knocking out requests of service. No, because it's still going to be a learning curve. You are having problems filling those positions. And I agree, you're going to have to look at the budget and figure out, once we get in this new role, what are we lacking in and how can we plug the hole or make it faster? But on the front end, I just don't want it to be perceived that we're going to vote on this and this is all of a sudden magic that people's request of service is going to be done. So it's just a formality. It's trying to get there, and we're moving in the right direction. It's going to take some time, so we're just going to have to figure it out. All right, that's all I have.
That's fair, Mr. Chair. And did you have anything to add?
The only thing I wanted to add was, it may take a little creativity. It may take a little more commitment. We have resources in Drainage Division now that obviously be available. I don't think they're fully being utilized completely, which would certainly add to maybe getting some increase in production. But you're right, you kind of got to get to know where you're at this point before we can come out and say, we're going to add more people and things like that. So, but it will take some creative energy to come in and make the changes and assess where we're at. I mean, if we don't do anything, well, then I guess you're not going to get a whole lot of change. So here we are trying to, establish a new direction and be more creative maybe in trying to solve some of these internal, challenges that we have.
I agree.
Mr. Andy Nakane.
My opinion in this ordinance and the focus of it is not necessarily on boots on the ground, because that's going to have to come with time. We're focusing on accountability and efficiency. And that's what the question is tonight. Once we get accountability and efficiency, then we can get to the nitpicking of who's going to hire who and how many we're going to put in there and when we can find the money to do it. If we create efficiency, we may create dollars where we can get more boots on the ground. And that's the whole point behind this, is let's get this right. Let's move forward with step one. Let's get some people in there that are going to be accountable, some people in there will show direction, some leaders in these positions that's going to take us to the process where we need to go to improve this parish and the city. Thank you.
Mr. Carson.
I completely agree with Councilman Nakhan. It's been said that everything rises and falls on leadership. And so I think it's appropriate to put in the right leadership, the right structure, so that we can evaluate what we currently have before making decisions on more people, more crews, so that we don't make a misstep. So I completely agree. I think this is the right move to make to start this process.
I see no more council discussion.
I like that deer.
Dear want to discuss, huh? I need a vote from each council on the joint
I would
ordinance.
prefer to say that the computer is just not, is just started rebooting on its own,
Yeah.
but I would prefer to say we put Bambi up there for the meeting to make things calmer, to soothing.
That poison ivy behind
With that being said, we'll just be doing voice votes for now.
Yeah, let's move forward, please. I need a vote from each council on the joint ordinance as amended.
Just, we need to go to public comment
Okay.
first. First speaker, Jim Dore. And that's on the ordinance as amended.
Oh, okay. We can do that one.
Well, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to address our city and parish councils. I greatly appreciate you allowing me the time. Also want to actually to commend our mayor president for taking on such a bold approach and making some significant change. I think that's warranted at this particular point in time. My name is Jim Dore. I'm actually the transition chair for the mayor president. We have a number of different committees that we have that we pulled together, and one of those, of course, is Public Works. If you're not familiar with the people who put and had input into this, I think it's worthy to at least mention the players that we've had in developing what we think is a good plan. Raymond Rayo is here. Raymond's going to be speaking, I think, behind me. He's a professional engineer. Philip Parker, professional engineer. Pamela Granger, professional engineer. Mike Vincent, PhD. Cam Mavasaki, PE and PhD. Melody Bordelon, PE. Mallory Hutchinson, PE. Daniel Hutchinson, PE. Ahmad Habib, PE and PhD. We have some valuable input from what I believe to be the best of the best in our parish and in our city to evaluate where we are currently with Public Works, and then to make a few suggestions and some changes that might be appropriate in the leadership so that we can move powerfully ahead in the Public Works restructuring. I've heard several things today that were mentioned. I've heard the terms effective, efficiency. I like the term flawless execution, or execution, period, because the fact of the matter is, if we don't execute properly, then of course we fail. So how do we do that? When you're looking at 300 employees and a $90 million budget, and from a guy who came from a company that was, when I retired, about $1.5 billion. I had an organization chart that was shown on here. It doesn't work. It's very hard for one individual to say grace over so many departments and areas, and to really be knowledgeable to make the right decisions and offer the right guidance. With this proposal, I think what we'll see exactly what we talked about, and there will be some accountability. It'll give you an opportunity, if you need to call these directors on the carpet, you can. You can ask them whatever questions you need. But I'll tell you, it's an important initiative that we should be looking at and adopting, and I'm fully in support of that. I took the liberty of just writing a few notes on our transition committee's summary to me. Top of the list was finance, and finance accountability and physical responsibility, not only for the city and the parish, but for our directors to be able to access where the money's going. As we all know, with a checkbook, money in, money out. We have the budget, even for our families. And for us not to know that at a director level, to me, is a bit concerning. We need some work on that. The other things that I gleaned from our report was strategies, and that is, looking at planning and zoning divisions and public works and trying to work together to create new opportunities and new ways of doing things. The rest of this is about communications, and that is, the developing systems that inform elected officials and citizens, the questions you've asked just today. Developing a strategy to integrate the work performed, as I mentioned, by planning and zoning. We should routinely and repetitively communicate with other political subdivisions in the parish, the city of Broussard, the city of Carencro, the city of Scott, the city of Youngsville, and the town of Doosan, as well as the village of Milton, to align our priorities. I think that's important to each of you as council members as well. And finally, it isn't always the people. We can throw money at it. We've done that. I've done that in my previous life, but that wasn't the answer. I think that we need to have an internal review of all the policies and the procedures and the positions that we have in order for us to put the right people in the right seats on the bus to make us more efficient. And if we're more efficient, we can be more effective. And if we're more effective, we have flawless execution, or execution anyway. We also do need, and I heard, boots on the ground. Councilman Neighbor, I heard you just say something that I actually experienced. I called someone over to my neighborhood, had a drainage problem, and the gentleman told me, he said, Mr. Story, man, you're number 16, 17 on the list. I said, yeah, I have been now for 2 years. He says, yes, unfortunately, we have the equipment. I said, we don't have the gear. He said, yeah, we have the equipment. We just don't have the people to be able to do the work. So I've experienced exactly what you have. So I'm hoping that at some point in phase 2 or 3, or whatever phase we'll be in, we'll be able to readdress where to put the right priorities and where to put the right people to be able to service the people of Lafayette and Lafayette Parish.
See, 5 minutes are up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you and good evening, Council and Mayor President. Thank you for the opportunity to address you tonight. My name is Raymond Ray. I'm a professional engineer and have been at this for some 30 years and working with Public Works the majority of that period of time. As Jim mentioned, I am the transition chair for the Public Works. And so we put a committee together of 10 people. He mentioned all of their names. We had 3 PhDs and 8 engineers and probably 2 centuries of experience sitting in the room, kind of talking about many of the issues you raised tonight, talking about expectations. We're talking about how do we run it better. And all those things were on the table when we met. The good news, I think, for you is that the ordinance before you is very similar to the recommendations in the report we generated. We generated a 27-page report that was delivered to the administration, and they've reviewed it and contemplated it. As you're well aware of, Public Works is an enormous organization, and their mission is diverse. I mean, they're in charge of putting capital improvements on the ground. An example might be Kali Saloon, where there's a road and a bridge. They're in charge of maintaining roads, about 1,000 miles of roadway. In addition, over 200 bridges, some 2,600 miles of drainage, much of what we're talking about tonight. 100 buildings. Public Works has to do 100 buildings, and they do over 1,000 vehicles and 500 pieces of equipment. Oh, by the way, they got to do traffic signals and pavement maintenance, and they got a trash collection system and a recycling system and environmental group. I think you can see, and I think I'm going to echo what Josh is saying, this is a broad responsibility that Public Works has. Okay, and what I think he's trying to say to you, let's get the priorities in order. The system is, I think, impeding the great employees at LCG from being the very best they can be. And I think your position, your responsibility is to give those people the best position to be successful and then give the citizens of Lafayette the best services they can be awarded. So I don't want to take too much of your time. I won't repeat much of what Jim said, but I do believe the reorganization will allow you to clarify the mission. Okay. When you're managing the shingles on a roof on a building, it's very also difficult to say, yes, I'm worried about the drainage. And I think that's really what Josh is trying to say to you. It allows you to narrow the mission. It allows you to make sure you're aware of the priorities and maybe measure the success or failures. That can ultimately result in expectations and then accountability, which is really, I think, where your government is heading. And so I applaud you for taking this on. I applaud the interaction. We were having so many of the similar conversations in our group of experienced engineers. So, you know, I'll stand behind the ordinance and ask that you deliver it because, you know, we need an efficient multimodal transportation system. Remember, by moving the drainage over, you're helping other priorities become buoyant and come to the surface. But we also have to have a superior flood conveyance system. We certainly don't want to forget that. And I think these steps, while not perfect and maybe not final, are I think, a lasting part of this administration and your leadership. So I would ask you to contemplate passing it. That concludes my remarks.
Mr. Chair, one citizen signed in who did not wish to speak, who signed in to support the ordinance.
So that's all public comments, Ms. Farron? Okay, need a vote from each council on the joint ordinance as amended.
City District 2,
Yes.
City District 3,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
City District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 3, Parish District 4, Parish District 5, Parish District 1. Motions to adopt as amended are approved.
Chairman. Chairman, can you read item number 7, please?
Joint Ordinance 3, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council amending the fiscal year 1920 operating budget to provide for adjustments to existing line items within the council office.
I need a motion and a second from City Council. Ms. Liz, motion, and Ms. Nanette Cook, second.
All right, need a motion from the parish. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman Carlson.
Council's discussion. Ms. Williams, any public comments? I need a vote from each council to adopt the joint ordinance.
City District 3,
Yes.
City District 4,
Yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
City District 1,
Yes.
City District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 3,
Yes.
Parish District 4,
Yes.
Parish District 5,
Yes.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2.
Yes.
Motions to adopt are approved.
Introductory ordinance. Jeremy, please read item number 8.
Joint Ordinance 4, 2020, a joint ordinance of the Lafayette City Council and the Lafayette Parish Council creating the Professional Services Review Committee in accordance with Section 309A6 of the Lafayette City Parish Consolidated Government Home Rule Charter.
Moved by Ms. Hebert, second by Mr. Glenn Lazar.
All right, need a motion from the parish. Motion by Councilman Tabor, second by Councilman A.B. Rubin.
Okay. Council's discussion. Ms. Williams, any public comments? I need a vote from each council to into the joint ordinance.
City District 4,
Oh, yes.
City District 5,
Yes.
City District 1,
Yes.
City District 2,
Yes.
City District 3,
Yes.
Parish District 4,
Yes.
Parish District 5,
Yes.
Parish District 1,
Yes.
Parish District 2,
Yes.
Parish District 3. Motions to introduce are approved.
Adjourn the parish council meeting to order.
I joined the joint meeting and the city council meeting. Adjourned.
Adjourn.